Hello and welcome to Gardener's World 2019. Setting up, or set up, past tense now. I think I've finally done everything I can do as we approach the stand on the naturally planted side. Now my plants haven't been too obliging this time. They've decided to go all over the show, but hey, that's plants for you. So we'll start over here with Paul's Glory, looking absolutely fabulous. Gorgeous plant. And underneath Paul's Glory I have a beaker trumpet, Amy Elizabeth, and Abby. There they are. Got my little bridge in there. And behind, I'm going to hiding its life under a bushel a little bit, is Winter Snow. And behind Winter Snow, if I just pan in a little bit, I have Winfield Gold. There we go. And then in front I've got Leviathan. Now that was a lovely neat clump of leaves prior to leaving the nursery, and now it's decided it's going to kind of flop and do all sorts of interesting things. Doesn't normally do that, but hey. So it's nicely entwined with Francis Williams just in front of it there. I shall come round to Francis in a moment, because underneath Francis I have Radiant Edger. And I've got a leaf there showing the merest variegation up the centre. It does do that occasionally. Doesn't tend to be the start of a reversion with this variety though, so I tend to leave it in. There's a little bit of interest there. Probably a reason to mark me down on as far as judging is concerned, but I like to leave it in. Hey ho. And then there's Francis Williams, and from certain angles it's looking absolutely gorgeous. And it's the first time I've been able to use it for a while, for a few years should I say, because it hasn't scorched the edge. We've had such a strange spring, but for some reason or other Francis Williams has come out looking okay. Normally by this time of the year there is quite a bit of scorch on her, unless you've got her in lots and lots and lots of shade. And again, there's another strange leaf coming through there. It looks half variegated, half not, but again it doesn't tend to be signs of it reverting, so once again I leave it in. Some lovely leaves of Leviathan there. And then the gold you could see tantalisingly there was Forbidden Fruit. So we come round here. Now last year it was much more vibrant, I have to say, though it's very dark and dull at the moment in the hall because it's very overcast today. It stopped raining temporarily, but very overcast, so the colours are quite muted at the moment. And in front of Forbidden Fruit I've got Paradigm. Now this one, the leaves are a little stunted this year, and I suspect that's because it didn't get quite enough moisture in the collection tunnel where it was. But its roots are beautifully strong. Next year it will come back, bounce back probably. And roughed up beside Paradigm, and I had quite a bit of damage on here, so, and unfortunately she decided she was always all going to lean in one direction, so yeah, never mind. There's not a lot you can do, it's working with nature. And as I pan away, to me that's looking green. It's absolutely beautifully gold. It's related distantly to Sum and Substance, so if you pop it in a little bit more light, the gold tends to come through. And I just hover over the back here and you see Winfield Gold again. That's quite a nice vibrant gold, but unfortunately because of the randomness of how the leaves have fallen you can't really see it too well. And in front I've got Crosser Regal. Just pan out a little bit there. Now again, she's normally a little bit taller growing. This year she hasn't got quite as much height. Should grow up to about 32 to 35 inches tall. Again, probably in a similar place to Paradigm in the collection tunnel, and didn't get quite enough moisture. And then in front I've got Whirlwind, looking stunning still. Its colour holds quite well until late summer, when it starts to streak through with green in the centre of the leaf, and by autumn you can still see the variegation, but a lot of it is muted. It's much more subtle. And on the end, I've got a variety I didn't bring out at all last year, Mrs. Minky. I just, I don't know why I didn't bring her out. She's a bit like Slim and Trim. I tend to use her quite a lot because of her beautiful shape. If I sort of pan down here and see how she kind of hugs a corner, draping beautifully with that lovely wavy edge. Okay, so that is my naturally planted side, and I'm coming around here to my container grown bit, and I've put pest control on the end here with my 2 pans. In one of them I've got stir fry, and again stunted. It's supposed to be a large variety, but it's looking more like a medium this year, and she did a bit of a flopsy with her habit. But this one, as the leaves come out, they tend to bend downwards from the midrib, which gives a very interesting shape, but she's not particularly obliging right at this moment. In the larger saucepan I've got the perennial favourite, June, and yeah, looks gorgeous all the time, whether it's in sun or shade. If I come back here, I've got about miniature hostas and pest control, and let's do the hanging baskets first. So we've got in on little white lines there, looking lovely, alongside gold drop. It's quite nice to have different baskets with different varieties in that show different leaf forms, because sometimes you can be just transfixed by the little ones, but they need something to look little against. Again, it's a bit of perspective. And I've got Paradise Puppet there that always keeps a beautiful small leaf shape. But in front of that I've put Red Cadet. Now this comes from Blue Cadet, so it ends up with that beautiful turquoise blue leaf. But as I come down here, aha, the surprise is red stems. And as the season goes on, those stems get redder and redder. When I showed her in the spring, it was much more subtle. It's all right, there's a noisy rubbish cart going round at the moment, so I apologise for that. Okay, so Paradise Puppet again. Little Maddie. And Slim and Trim, looking absolutely gorgeous. This was the one I had in one of the oval baskets, and I thought I'll put her back in the collection and won't use her again. I'm always using Slim and Trim, but as I took it out, I thought, oh, it's just too nice. I've got to take her again. So there you go, Slim and Trim. I mean, if there ever was an advert for a plant that just gives you everything, it's got to be this one. Considering how many times I use her, it's amazing. And here's Lemon Lime, and then Ripple Effect, looking really ripply. Has such an interesting form, this plant. There is another one out called Wee, but we don't find that grows anywhere near as well as Ripple Effect, and doesn't seem to keep its twist quite so nicely either. At the moment I'm more of a fan of Ripple Effect than I am of Wee, but time will tell on that. And below the stand I have Feather Boa, and then Lemon Delight. These are in the oval shaped bowls I have underneath the hanging basket stand. Then I have Lakeside Blue Cherub. I really enjoy that plant. It's got such a nice open form, lovely round leaves. And then,
I mean, somebody over there just taking a label out.
oh really? Already?
That's so rude.
It's all right. You're absolutely right. It's so rude. So as a fellow exhibitor, we do get a little irate. It's not even show opening yet, and people are still messing with things. And then we have Vernagine, and in front, Glass Hearts, which is a gorgeous little plant. It gives you lots of leaf, sort of spoon-shaped leaf on top of a fairly high stem, so it's very elegant. And then we have an old favourite, Tango, in front. Then Blue Mouses. I wasn't going to bring Blue Mouses out at all this year, but it was looking so vibrant in the tunnel. I thought, no, she's got to come. And then behind, an absolute favourite of mine, Quilting Bee. I love the depth of colour of this, the gloss of the leaf, the texture, the shape, and then on top of it all has little white flowers, and one that's starting to come out there. I mean, stunning. It's actually not too bad in here at the moment. They had the fans on all day, yesterday and the day before. Not that we really needed it, with the wind howling outside, the rain falling, and it was as cold as anything coming through the door. Here we go, Crystal Dixie. Another one, a bit like Quilting Bee for its depth of colour. It's intensely green, gorgeous with that gloss. Lovely plant to use as an accent, or to grow other accents against, to show them off. And behind Crystal Dixie I have Dance With Me. That's a lovely one. Don't tend to bring it out very often because I don't often have it for sale in sufficient quantities to do a big show. At the back, these are the plants that are in the pond, is Deanne's Dream. And I put her at the back so you can see the stems, but she's not really obliging me too much. If I just pan in there, you can see the pink stems. There we go. But she's decided to do a little bit of a flop. It's probably just the weather. Hasn't been great. Though I'm not complaining because we needed the rain. Then I've got Nicola. And this is a lovely plain-leaved hosta. A lot of people would just walk past it, but it does so much work showing off other more blousy plants, if you like, in the garden. Then in front of those I have Punky. Now that comes through looking plain blue in the spring and then develops its variegation. And it's part of the Tokyodama arm of the genus. So it's quite a slow grower, but it has that beautiful leaf shape. If you're familiar with blue wedgwood, it's what produced Punky, and you can see that leaf shape quite clearly. It's absolutely gorgeous, very, very tough and good against pests. Then in front of that I've got Devon Gold, and then coming round, last but certainly not least, I have Forest Shadows. Very similar to TikTok, but slightly more subtle in colouring because of the bloom on the leaf. And what I'll do is I'll pan out to give you the whole effect of this side of the stand. I'm not about to trip over anything, am I? That would be good, wouldn't it? All of a sudden you'll see a shot of the ceiling. There we go. And so that's the container side of the display. And that's it from Birmingham. Well, almost it from Birmingham. I'm just going to go hop over hubby's head because he doesn't want to be in the video, and down the other side to just show his lovely table arrangement. Here we go. Look at that. He doesn't do a bad table. And this time we're taking a punt on just stocking what we have on the stand. This year there are 4 hosta exhibitors here at the show. I mean, it's questionable whether or not we really need 4. But as I'm one of them, I'm not going to complain. And so I thought, just focus on the varieties I am displaying. You can't tell what other people are going to be doing. And to try and second guess is a waste of time. So that's it from the NEC for now. Speak to you again soon.